Welcome to 1 Million Cups Kansas City. The mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the United States. 1 Million Cup communities gather across the country every Wednesday to share presentations and make authentic connections. 1 Million Cup events are free, open to the public, and always have coffee.
Hello, I'm grateful to be here. My name is Grace Kertz, and I'm in my last semester at UMKC studying marketing. And while my primary goal is to be a strategist at an advertising agency, a passion and recognition of unmet need led me to launch a personal training business. I'm the founder of Flex with Pizazz, striving to grow and carry it into my career as a part-time venture. And here's why I started it. 3 years ago, I followed fitness advice commonly given to women. Eat less, exercise more, push harder. That approach led me to be hospitalized for 2.5 months and exposed a larger issue in women's fitness. To share a couple statistics, in a major audit of sports medicine and exercise science journals, only 6% of publications exclusively studied female athletes. Within those studies, hormonal variables were often not controlled for. And while 57% of personal training clients are women, the majority of trainers are male. I recognize many women are misinformed through social media, they're underrepresented in exercise science research, and they have less opportunity to work with a female trainer. I started Flex with Pizazz to provide evidence-based training built for female physiology. It's not just a business, it's a response to this system-level gap. My primary offering is one-on-one coaching, in person independently at Wellness Warehouse, through UMKC Recreation Center, and virtually. I offer program only, where I chat virtually about client goals, then create a tailored workout plan to be followed independently, in addition to having the one-on-one coaching available. They can also purchase a plan refresh as they progress with their independent plan. My coaching method is based on intuitive movement, optimized momentum, guiding clients in sustainable and positive training. Flex with Pizazz posts on Instagram and TikTok to share information and build community. Building our presence also positions us for brand collaborations to bolster awareness and drive supplemental revenue. We've received PR from Starkist Tuna, Gainsbox, and dog food so far, and we'd like to move into paid user-generated content, or UGC, creating brand-aligned content with both Flex with Pizazz and the partnering brand. I'm also striving to participate in research studies to increase female representation and change the system internally. This participation would ideally be paid, although I'm open to unpaid as I establish credibility. Flex with Pizazz is supported by peers who assist with content creation, as well as mentors versed in personal training and entrepreneurship. My biggest challenge is client leads. I currently train 2 clients independently and recently passed my onboarding at UMKC Recreation, where clients will be channeled to me. I'm also pursuing relocation to Los Angeles after I graduate this May, so I'm seeking clients interested in virtual coaching, the program-only option, or ways to establish myself quickly in a new city. Ideally, I'll coach 5 to 10 clients each week and allocate 3 to 5 hours per week for content creation, admin tasks, and generating the client leads. My primary client is female beginner lifters, ages 22 through 39, and my secondary audience is plateaued lifters, male or female, who would benefit from intentional programming. There's also a barrier to participating in research studies, and I'm seeking introductions to reputable research organizations or independents. I've explored no and low-cost methods to reach clients, and I'm conscious of the time investment to return ratio. So far, client conversion has been the result of in-person conversations, whether they heard me talk about my business in a casual setting or saw me working out in the gym. My credibility as a personal trainer is established by my certification through the National Academy of Sports Medicine, 2 Les Mills International Group Fitness certifications, and as a gold medalist in the Missouri State Powerlifting Championship. I've gained some community exposure through guest speaking, coaching group fitness classes, including at special events, sharing business cards, and posting social media content consistently. I've noticed that in-person conversations where the individual approaches me for fitness advice and who already have an interest working with a personal trainer are the most effective. Social media has generated leads, but not conversion, but it's essential to validating my approach, building community, and cultivating the brand partnerships. I've distributed my business cards to one local supplement superstore as a test before purchasing large amount of business cards and haven't received any leads. Similarly, guest speaking hasn't been fruitful with audience size small and lacking motivation to improve their fitness journey beyond the event, and I haven't received any leads there. I also recognize that selling is not what energizes me, coaching does. So I have to intentionally lean into opportunities with high return for my time, my energy, and keep financial investment low to none so I can spend more time coaching and sustain Flex with Pizazz as a part-time commitment. I'm open to ideas applicable to Kansas City or LA areas. This includes live virtual coaching and program-only options for Kansas City residents and in-person coaching in the greater LA area. My big question is, what strategies would you recommend for converting clients efficiently? And I'd also welcome introductions to exercise science and sports medicine researchers, especially those seeking female participants.
Okay, so if you have a question or comments, please raise your hand. We will come to you. We are recording this, so we do need to make sure that you have the microphone before you speak, please.
First of all, wonderful presentation. So with the idea of you going to LA, but still trying to keep traction here, have you thought about starting like more community group-based situations to where there's space for accountability? You're away, but the group is here, right? And so let's say, for instance, there's 5 people in the group. They meet up at the gym, they work out at the same time, they check in with you on group coaching calls, things of that nature. Because one of the things that I find with going to the gym is it's better to do it in community. It's so much better to do it in community. I don't like to go to the gym if my husband is not there, but me and my husband work 2 different schedules. So if I could go and homegirl a couple girls in the gym and kind of match with their schedules, it's easy for me to show up. I'm not going to show up if I know community's not there. So have you thought about that aspect of it?
I haven't. Thank you for bringing that up.
Hi, great presentation. What was your name again?
Grace.
Grace. Grace, like the name. Grace, you're asking for introductions. Mark McKee is a former 1 million Cups presenter here. If anybody remembers him? No? He developed some machines for exercising, strength training. So he knows that market pretty well. That's all I would say.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
I have so many questions, but my one, I think it's very interesting the rate at which I'm a former college athlete and the rate at which women get hurt over men, even looking at ACL tears or things like that and injuries. And so I love that you're focused on healthy sort of engagement and healthy relationships with working out and with sort of diet and exercise. But have you done anything in the space of injury or injury prevention or even, I don't know, rehab is the right word there?
I don't have any specific certifications for injuries and healing those. I do consider like any health history or prior injuries with clients. And as long as it's within my scope of practice, then I can still take on the client, but I don't have a specialization.
It's really interesting if you ever want to just spiral out on a topic, the difference between men and women ACL tears and the rate and the percentages. Presentation though, I love it.
Thank you.
Joe, over here, do you have a slide with your contact information?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Next slide.
Joe, go ahead.
Great idea and presentation, Grace. It speaks well of you that you understand what it is you like to do and not like to do for marketing and sales. So that's great, but you still have to somehow make yourself known. And so my suggestion is finding opportunities to speak to women or people in general, but certainly a target group is women, which might be something like a community center where people go for exercise to offer talks might work. And then thinking about your move to Los Angeles, I don't know if you have lived there. I haven't, but I've spent a lot of time there. It practically feels like I've lived there. Is that you need to identify what area of Los Angeles you're going to be in, because you probably know that marketing to the greater Los Angeles area, if you wanted to do in person, isn't going to work out so well, because sometimes people feel like they're spending their entire life in their cars. But once you know, finding those opportunities that are not tied. For example, here you have this UMKC connection, but that's not always feasible once you're out of school. And one thought that occurred to me was YMCA, but YMCA would require you to be a trainer on the YMCA roster, which may or may not appeal to you. But by going to something like a community center, hopefully there wouldn't be that restriction in how you conduct your business. But I like how you are open to doing it both online and in person. So I wish you lots of success.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Hi, I'm Stephanie. Do you by chance know Wesley Hamilton?
I don't.
Okay. So Wesley Hamilton is a man who started the organization Disabled But Not Really. He's very public with his story. He was actually on Queer Eye. If you all want to go back and watch Kansas City Queer Eye, he was here a couple weeks ago. He went from a spinal cord injury to being an adaptive CrossFit athlete and power lifter, like award winning. He just opened an inclusive gym on Main Street. He also has lived in LA. I think he might be a really, really good connection, and I'd be happy to do an introduction, but I think there's a lot of overlap between the adaptive sports and what you're doing, right? I mean, especially with sharing about your hospitalization, right? Like that's the risk when you do this poorly, but those sorts of histories doesn't mean that you can't be, you know, really active and fit and all of that. So that might be he might have some really good insights for you. So I'll be happy to make that connection.
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you.
Hi, Grace. I'm sorry I missed some of your presentation getting in here late. Had to drop my son off to school. Is this on? Okay, cool. So what I would suggest is ingratiating yourself into a lot of the women organizations here in Kansas City, like NAVA would be a really great connection for you. That's primarily for supporting women who own businesses. But even as an entrepreneur, I find that my exercise routine has gone out the window since starting the business. So if you could find a way, and they have a monthly breakfast, they do presentations. So that would at least give you a platform to get to kind of build your image and your business. But even, you know, working with doulas, you know, kind of finding those different spaces with women and where they are in the walks of their life is a great way to kind of, you know, have, you know, grace with exercise, right? And kind of building their body up to support their life.
Thank you.
Okay, so there are lots of hands. We're going to get to you if we can, but if we see you, just know that we are coming.
Hi, Grace. So a suggestion you asked for possible ways to get clients is what I found or I've seen is that in the exercise space, maybe teaching a group class, a free to low class, you know, cost class, and then introducing yourself that way to somebody who's already interested in it. I've seen it work for a lot of trainers. Okay, so that's a positive, you know, maybe way of doing it. A slightly less negative comment is the fact that you're introducing yourself as, hey, I'm here, but I want to move to Los Angeles. I think you probably need to express a plan on what you're going to do, because you're offering personal training. So I'm thinking, oh, well, you know, let me tell somebody about Grace. But you know, it's like, she's not gonna be here, you know, shortly and everything. So maybe plan on introducing a, you know, a co-trainer, or how are you gonna do that?
So I'm from the West Coast and my wife's from Orange County. So my sister-in-law, she kind of does something similar, but she does, how she got a lot of connections and what she did to get a lot of people was, she does like the female bodybuilding competitions. I don't know if you've ever thought about that, but in LA, that's a very tight-knit group. It's a very beach-driven group. So there's a lot of, like, you get involved with those kind of competitions and stuff like that, you'll find a ton of stuff in LA markets for that.
Great. Thank you.
Hi, Grace. I'm Ethar. Thank you for your presentation. I thought it was great. I'm happy to connect you to Dr. Mary Fry at KU. She does women-specific, research around exercise science. So that's one of her field areas. So happy to make that connection. If you need a guinea pig, I'm volunteering myself for a class, or, but I think this is amazing work, and I'm really excited to see, where you go.
Thank you. I'd love to be connected. I appreciate that.
So I did personal training about 10 years ago. I had an illness that made it, when I was diagnosed, I could not walk. And through that, I now, every now and then, get back into the gym, and my personal trainer does training with people all over the US. She does it through videos. I recorded the movement of the training day, and then she would give me feedback on that video. So it was very possible for, she lives in the middle of Kansas, and I'm now in Kansas City. I could still use her as a personal trainer, but I've gotten to the point where she's in my head. And a couple of weeks ago, I went to the gym and I did some lifting, and I got a compliment that I was the best lifter there. It's been a couple of years, but even still, her in my head was helping me lift correctly so I would not continue to injure myself. So I'm saying all of that to say it's possible, and it doesn't matter where you live. You just have to, I think I understand what they're saying, like how you talk about it is going to matter, but how you do it can happen. And also, I will connect you with Anna, because I think she would be an amazing, she does adaptive and also women specific. So
Thank
I
you.
think she would be a great connection. Is there anybody else who has a comment or a question? Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, you told me that. Sorry.
Good morning, Grace. That was awesome. Two things. I am a guinea pig. I'm recovering, well, almost 18 years recovering from an ACL replacement surgery. I'm desperately trying to not have knee replacement. So I'm always searching for methodologies that will help me extend that. So I just turned 60, so I'm trying to push it to 70 before I have to even consider knee replacement. But does UMKC have, I'm not sure, alumni associations that they can connect you with, as far as, because I know that there's got to be transplants in LA. So just utilize the alumni association, and I'm not sure, video, I mean, honestly, virtual is how I use my trainer. So it's a very effective tool. I think that you would do great with that, even making connections here and maintaining those clients. So again, I would love to be one.
Thank you.
Okay, time for one more.
Personally, I think you might actually be at an advantage. Great. I caught the very end of your presentation, and then realized I didn't have my mask and had to go back. But I think you're at an advantage if you can master online. A lot of people, the reason they don't work out is they don't want to leave their house. And so if you can help people establish that at their own home, I think you're actually at an advantage as you, so I would lean into, I'm moving, but actually it makes no difference.
Okay, thank you for that feedback. All right, so for those of you who are new to the room, you may not know that we get one more question to ask. What can we as a community do to help you?
I would just value any connections to potential clients or researchers and also staying in touch.
Super. Thank you so much for your presentation. Okay, we've had a few people come in. I'm going to remind you, we do ask that people check in if you can. This is a QR code that's sprinkled throughout the room. We would love to have you check in and let us know that you came today. And our next presenter is Mark. So Mark, do you want this?
Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. Hey, it's great to see everybody. Can you hear me okay? Okay, excellent. Well, it's obvious when they put Grace and me together. Good looking, young. Hi, Grace. Great job. I'm very impressed. Makes me kind of nervous, actually. So I've been coming to One Cup since it started here in 2026. So it's kind of a opportunity for me to get back into the community, into the market. And as I've been preparing to launch a new business. So I come to you really looking to learn. Okay, I'm just at the initial stages of my business, which I'll share with you. And I recognize just the vast amount of intelligence and resource in this room. And so my intention is just to learn from you this morning. Okay, no hidden agenda. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you will say the same thing afterward, that it wasn't too bad. But I want to ask you, I know this is a pretty, relative to me, pretty young crowd. So Jake and Elwood, does that ring a one? Neil, I was counting on you. There you go. Jake and Elwood, what were they on?
Brothers.
Yeah, but what were they on? Just another old fella here.
A mission from.
A mission from God. Okay. So I'm going to talk about the mission from God that I'm on. Okay. I'm sure you'll understand. This is my daughter, Kelly. What a superstar Kelly was. Okay. She passed away in 2015. Cancer. Boy, I hate that stuff. But what I want to say is she had such a tremendous life in her 25 years. Tremendous. And after she passed away, my wife, going through her journals and her many writings, found her personal mission statement. And we have used that to rally around. And our mission from God has been to really promote that, promote her mission statement. And I can't tell you what that does for us as far as peace and comfort. It really makes a big difference. Because we don't want Kelly to be forgotten. Okay? As a matter of fact, probably our greatest fear is that Kelly would be forgotten. And we're not unique. Okay? We're not unique. When we lose somebody, we want them to be remembered. And that's really what led me to do what I'm doing now. We believe that it's important to help others kind of continue that mission from God, if you will, help others find a way to honor their loved ones and tell their stories. Okay, so what we've done, and you may have heard about applications like this, it's fairly new, but what we've done is we've developed a metal medallion, stainless steel actually, with a QR code engraved that you permanently attach to a gravestone. And then that's connected to a memorial site that tells that story. And how do you do that? You scan the QR code, you view the life story, and then the family updates that over time. And that's actually the QR code to Kelly's site right there. So what does that do? It kind of, it provides a digital window into who that person was from the cemetery, from a grave. So I don't know if you're like me, but you go to a cemetery and you look at a name and think, okay, what do I know about this person? Especially if it's someone in a close proximity to someone else I know. I find myself doing that. So that's what we're doing. And these are the medallions that we offer. And as I said, we're just in the beginning stages, but we have a gravesite medallion, then we have display medallions because not everybody has a gravestone. Our biggest challenge and what I'm here to talk about is, hey, this is relatively new. Matter of fact, it's really new. And there's not a lot of folks that know about this type of application. So how do we get the word out? We know families want to preserve the legacy of their loved ones, but how do we make sure that they're aware of these types of solutions in the marketplace? And how do we also communicate to them that we get it, that a QR code is only as good as your ability to scan it and be connected to that memorial site, right? So if this is only as good as my LLC, then it's not too good, right? You have to have more confidence than in me getting hit by a bus or my company not being able to sustain itself. So we have to prove that we are in the business for the long haul and that QR code will be active well into the foreseeable future. And so that's what the 4 layers of protection are about. We only provide stainless steel medallions. We have permanent engraved markings with a QR code. And we've ensured that the back end is secure and permanent by making that domain registration perpetual, as well as a hosting reserve. So we've established that as well. As I said, we're just getting started. This is where we're at in the process. And what I'm here to learn is learn from you. So that's where we're at. So thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Hey, I see lots of hands. We will acknowledge and get to you as soon as we can.
Good morning, Marlon.
Good morning.
Awesome. I mean, you and I had talked before when I was here before. The one thing that I would think about or ask if you have a workaround, because I remember sitting at the funeral home making plans for my mother's and my dad's. And if you think of just everything you have to make a decision for, like within the first 24 hours, you just begin to build a mental block. Like that's all I can think of and process. Even if it's a valuable add-on like that, but the funeral home is saying they're presenting that, so you get a relationship with the funeral home. They pitch the product. Is it something that they can just easily upload that stuff to the funeral home's website and then it's forwarded on from there so that it doesn't have to remain with the family to continue to, upload stuff, make the decisions on whatever, and field questions? I don't know, have you thought about that end of the product?
Maybe I can describe to you how it works. And you can tell me if that answers your question. So actually, we are partnering with funeral homes. That's our first reseller market that we're pursuing. And I've had my initial meetings with funeral homes and they've been very well. It went very well. So the way this will work for us is that funeral homes will maintain a small inventory of our product. And then when a family decides that this is something they want, they'll provide that to them. Okay, so they'll get a custom made box with a medallion that will be attached to a marker. And then the family will actually go online and initiate an account. And when they do that, they'll be instructed, walk through the process of how they build that memorial site for their loved ones. So the funeral home may offer support because we'll train them. However, we want to make it as intuitive as possible. And, and I say that when I'm thinking, well, it's not as intuitive as I would like it to be, right? But we're working on the intuitive nature of it. And just to make sure that it's easy, we're talking about uploading pictures. We're talking about writing a story that is AI enabled. So you can use an AI tool to help write that story. And then pictures. So it's a fairly simple process. But to your point, people will need help, I've no doubt, and so we're going to make sure there's resources available to do that. Does that help? Thank you.
Fantastic. Oh, is this on? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, that was a fantastic presentation. One of the thoughts that came to mind is kind of even at a nationwide level for distribution is Everest Funeral Concierge Services, because they bring together a lot of kind of a vault for passwords, a network of or a database of all of the funeral homes in the United States for ability to negotiate. They have small piece of life insurance. They have all sorts of things worked into that system. And if there was a way to also connect this into there to add value to the clients, it's a subscription model. So maybe there's a way that this could fit into that as well.
What did you call it again?
It's called Everest Funeral Concierge
Okay.
Services.
Maybe I'll,
And I could probably get a connection for you with somebody who works there.
oh, that's
One of
awesome.
the Transamerica, their life insurance company
Right.
has a final expense and a similar package to Everest of kind of planning to help the family with planning for services, et cetera, for people who just buy permanent policy of 250,000 or more. Something like this could then be put into there where you've got access to somebody to help you with planning your funeral and as well as a whole wide range of services. And now it's somewhere it's nationwide. And so those two companies might be worth looking at.
Oh, yeah. I would say they're worth looking at. That's a great idea. Thank you so much for that.
Hey,
I
Mark.
see you guys.
Mark, thank you. Such a great presentation. We talked such a great product. I do want to piggyback off of what you were saying. Sorry, I didn't catch your name. Recently my grandma passed away, very different than your daughter, right? It was expected. She was almost 95, right? Like we had years to prepare for this, knowing that it was coming. And yet, even with that, at our family gathering, my dad was beating his head against the wall, trying to figure out how to put together the PowerPoint for the funeral services and who was going to write what. And no, we don't like that picture because that picture doesn't really represent who they are. That was when they were really sick and we don't want to use that photo. And, all of those things, right? So kind of what you were saying, like, it's just so overwhelming. And every funeral that I have been a part of, that slideshow, people put in so much effort into that slideshow and then they go, okay, well, it's on the computer now.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But I also think the idea of something that you put together when you are in grief being permanent and whether or not that honors that person, I think is a really big barrier for people, right? Like this is, I don't know that I want to run a QR code that anybody can see because I'm not good at graphic design or I'm not, like I don't know how to put this thing together and I'm not a good writer and all of that. So I'm wondering if what is needed to help someone get to that point is a social media or communications person on your team that says, hey, it's fine. Don't worry. I got this. I'm going to make it beautiful. And you just send me your things and I got this covered. Right? That level of comfort.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I think
idea.
that would help people get over
Okay.
that.
Y'all can sign up if you want to play that role. I'm gonna grab something.
Over here. Hi, beautiful presentation. The thing that popped up for me as you were speaking was I lost my brother 11 months ago. Tragically, he was at work, boss mad, a whole bunch. It was a mess. Anyway, so one of the things that I wish we would have done by listening to this was honored him while he was still living, build his legacy before he passed away. Who knew he was gonna, be murdered at 25 years old? And so, is there space? My question is, number one, is there space in this to start creating these memories before they're gone so that the story that's told was a living story? It's not like a idea of what you thought their life looked like. Like who would upload a picture of me sitting in my bonnet, reading my Kindle, drinking a cup of coffee with my feet hanging? Nobody, but I would upload those pictures so that I could tell the story, the truth of who I was instead of the polished version that my family would try to present. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, I know what you're saying. Hey, did we talk about this Hamilton musical? What's the song? Who lives, who dies, who tells my story? Oh, I love that so much. No, of course I love it because I'm selling this. But I mean, the fact is, I've thought about starting with assisted living, right? Okay, maybe you want to be the one that tells your story instead of depending on your relatives. You know, maybe that's not the right sales pitch, but you know, something like that. But I think we all are empowered, you know. I have a headstone. My wife and I have a headstone out at the same cemetery that Kelly's at now. So we could do that for us and not have to depend on Clay or brother, which, you know, who knows, that's a little iffy.
So, one more thing I wanted to add. So there are two people I want to introduce you to. One of them is in the hospice space. She's a hospice chaplain for multiple hospice here in the area. And then number two, one of the biggest funeral homes here in Kansas City, the owner goes to my church. And so I would love to make that connection with those two people for you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
When you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
Oh,
need you to look at me.
hey, coach. I see you clearly.
Do you have a customer journey in mind for funeral homes? As in, when people are in that space of, I'm beating my head against the wall, I wish we'd have had this conversation before she died, where are all the pictures, I don't like that picture, that I think I would have really relaxed and just enjoyed the process a little more, knowing that, hey, this is actually, you can go back and change it after the funeral, because you're gonna put it in this thing. And when you think about how much a funeral costs, like $99, that's chump change, man. That's like parking meter money. And so for them to be like, look,
Exactly.
we're just gonna guide you to this thing, make the best slideshow you can have. I love the idea of a handhold, of whoever said that, someone to hold my hand, that I can pay an extra $200 to or $300 to, and they create the slides and they bring all the information from all the cousins and the aunts and the uncles, and I think that it'd be and all that, right? Like, just that person's managing the slideshow piece, and then when it's done, I can still fix it, right? I love that.
That's a really good point.
For you, but I think the powerful piece would be the customer journey for the funeral home director. When they start to have the conversation about the slideshow, there's a lot of relief. We have found there's a lot of relief by just offering them this service. And then they can move through this without thinking that no one will ever see this slideshow again. No, it's going to be forever. So take your time. Don't worry about it. You can fix it later. That would have meant so much to me. And then on the assisted living side, I think you should hit both of these at the same time. On the assisted living side, I would really encourage you to just create some workshops. A 45-minute workshop, a 90-minute workshop, a full morning workshop. Create 3 different ones, and then go in and advertise it as that. Don't trust your cousin Bob. We're going to help you, right?
Oh, you're not talking about my cousin. No, that's great, but I'm not surprised. Okay. I get that kind of direction from her every time I show up. So that's really good. That was excellent. Thank you.
Hi, I'm over here.
Hello, farmer.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I just lost a really close friend yesterday, so I'm trying to. The amount of support that this man has had with all of the friends, he was an amazing person in Casey. And we're all just sitting here twiddling our thumbs, waiting for the family to make plans. But what you might consider is maybe partnering with Facebook to be able to put in their honorary remembrance Facebook profiles a space where the friends of the family can then purchase this for the family and be able to access it so that they can write those final goodbye letters, upload all of their Facebook pictures. I think that would be an amazing way to kind of support and give the family more opportunities to find pictures of their day-to-day life and how the life that they led. I also think it would be really interesting for you to work with lawyers who craft wills and then offer that as an option. When you're there doing your will, you're thinking about this kind of awful end that you're coming to say, you can start crafting this now. We'll do it as part of the will. Afterwards, we'll have a section where your family and your friends can contribute and continue to contribute. Because I know that Even having lost my grandmother in 2003, I still think of her and I write her letters every once in a while.
Oh, beautiful.
It'd be nice to put her.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And I'm so sorry for your loss as well. This QR code is active, okay? So if you want to see what it looks like, just go there now. And, oh my God, I'm so old, I forget what I was going to say. But I'll have to catch up with you. I know the way we're set up for an account, the person that purchases it, the product is called a family editor. And so they get in and then they can basically delegate access to anyone that they want to, any family member, and they can go in and add photos, videos, etc. Anyone can do a tribute, but that has to be approved by the family. So you'll see if you were to click on that and go down to the tributes that we actually entered from years gone by for our daughter. We put in tributes from her friends. And so, because it's so meaningful, but yeah, God bless you. Thank you so much.
I got something for you.
Yes, sir.
I'm appreciative for the presentation. Very nice and very meaningful work. I mean, meaningful in the way that it can be really resonant for people at a time when they're, really looking for something good. One thing that I will mention is your visual, your link, whether it's a medallion on the headstone or whether it's in the plaque, whatever, not as sacred as what you're getting to once you go to the site. I would consider folding another piece of material over that with their initials, their name, their photo, there's something that has more emotional resonance than that. Just as an idea, as a way to kind of like elevate that point of remembering them.
It's interesting.
I mean, they also do, I have a business, I can create a free QR code and I can make it into my logo. You can put a picture there. You can make that somebody's face too. I mean, that's another way to.
So one thing I will say, and this is what it looks like. And to your point, this is not fancy. This is pretty much generic. And frankly, it's meant to be that way because we didn't want to detract from the marker. Okay, so that marker's there honoring that person. Now, like in my daughter's case, that's just a flat brown marker. There's not much space there at all. So we just kind of stick this in the corner of it. And for a big, beautiful marker, there are, like I mentioned, there's others in the market that do this and they have a big red heart. And I just don't want to do that to a marker. So we're trying to go into script, but for those that want to have it displayed in their home, etc. Now this is a blank medallion, but this is what it's like. Okay. And you can feel it and see what it would look like in the home. But thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Hi, that was an amazing presentation. Thank you for the work that you're doing because it is so powerful to remember the stories of those that we love. I wanted to piggyback on a few things and ask a clarifying question. So I can't remember your name, but what you shared, I love the idea of a living legacy and connecting with individuals who help people do their wills. Because I actually had this conversation with my family recently, and it was like, hey, this is what I want during my funeral because you are all going to remember me in this way, but I want you to remember me in this way.
There you go.
Like, the bare feet, the person that was just fun, free. Like you're going to do something completely different that tells a different story about me because you feel like you need to tell that story to the rest of the world, but this is the truth of who I am. So I definitely agree with the way avenues to create a platform that this is the living legacy site for those currently alive. Like this is just a place where we find legacies of people, former and present. And then a clarifying question. So I see this when I heard your presentation as something that is in process that didn't necessarily need to be ready by the time of the funeral. but something that the family then would work on over the next number of months. So I mean, I've lost plenty of loved ones, and, you know, there's just that swirl of overwhelm that week after. So I personally, as you presented, did see this as something needing to be ready by the time of the memorial, but something that was worked on over a number of months. Is that correct and accurate? And if so, then I could see a tiered process, like, you know, the family just purchases, they build it out themselves, or they get someone who hand holds them. It's an additional consult service, and they help build out the whole, you know, framework of, and what they want it to look like in the end.
Well, there's a lot of great ideas here about how to enhance and add value here. I guess our initial thought was, since it's attached to a gravestone, those take several months to be placed. So you have time, but then again, you can make updates to this in an infinity. I love what you said about your personal story. My sister, who died a year before Kelly, she lived with us for 5 years. She died with ovarian cancer. So we've been just gut punched. But Ramona, she wanted, those boots were made for walking. And my sister and brother-in-law, who were working at church, they really resisted that. And I said, by golly, Mona's going to have my boots are made for walking at her funeral, whether you like it or not, right? So we did that because she made it known that was what she wanted. So, and that's kind of girl Mona was.
Thank you, Mark. This, as you know, I really believe in this product. I love your presentation. Thank you so much for sharing. I will say that, you know, I work on maternal health in the Kansas City area. And unfortunately, we've lost many women during pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. And I'm in communities where we keep hearing their stories and want to continue to share their names. So this is a community I'd love to introduce you to, bring you along. Because again, there are so many people we've lost early. I mean, we're trying to prevent maternal deaths,
Absolutely.
but we know that it happens every day in our area. So this is something I'd love to help you with. And then the other community is universities. I've lost many professors young. And so I'm just wondering if there's a way to connect with universities to see, because they're always trying to, you know, make sure that their legacy is alive, maybe naming a library, you know, after them or something. So I think connecting with universities will be really awesome. And then faith communities. I think no matter the faith, I think it's really, really important. People are all trying to share their loved one's legacy. And so I would just say that's another community to tap into if you haven't already, but I'm really excited for you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate your work, Dr. Ethar. Absolutely.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question.
My question is, like, I love the fact, I love this idea. I love it. My brother was murdered in 2013 and his baby was only 9 months old. Now she's 13. So I wish I had this so that she could see her father and know who he is. Because no matter how many times we tell her stories, it's nothing like seeing it for herself. And he was a musician.
Oh.
So it was something I really wish I had at that
Yep.
time. I love it. I love it.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you.
Okay, so I have a question. I'm from Liberia, and my mom is almost 90 years old, right? So I have a lot of brothers, and they are all older than me, and they have their own ideas. So is there a way this can be used like overseas internationally to where like my family back home can also like have access to this as well? And I was also wondering, is there a way I can get it now so that way I can like start telling her story now in my way where my brothers don't have no control?
So the answer is yes to the first one, but you don't have to make it that way, right? You can just do it all yourself. But anywhere that they have the internet connection, it's going to work, right? I don't know what kind of firewalls they have around that area. You know, maybe in China it might be difficult. I'm not sure, but that would be the only concern I would have. But we only sell right now since we're just starting, right? May 1st is in the US. So, I mean, you can get a head start on your brothers.
I'm sorry, we're out of time.
We'll catch you.
So, will you be able to stay after? I think other people would love to comment a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't leave yet. We have one more question for you.
Oh, yeah.
What can we as a community do to help you?
Is that the question to me?
That is to you.
Oh, hey, connect me in these, and I think you've recorded these because I didn't write everything down, and it's like, this is solid gold, folks. Wow, 1 million cups. It's blown me away here. Thank you so much.
Okay, so a couple of things, and then we have an announcement. If you have now seen the presentation, you've seen how the audience offers the feedback and the encouragement and the help and the different way of thinking about it. This is magical. I love this space. Thank you for, I mean, just, it warms my heart being here every Wednesday morning. So if you're interested in presenting your own business, we do have a pipeline. It's kind of full. That's okay. You get in the pipeline and something sometimes happens to show up and you can get in sooner. We do coach you. We don't just say, have fun. We give you the guidance on the kinds of questions you should be answering through your presentation. We listen to your presentation and offer guidance before you present. So it should not be terribly intimidating, but you know, it can be. So if you want to present, you can do that. If you have questions about that, if you're an organizer, again, please raise your hand. You can ask any of us at organizers if you have questions about that. We do have a whole resource page through this QR code. You're welcome to check it out if you need resources to entrepreneurial things here in Kansas City. They're on that page. And you can connect with us on social media, and we'll go back to that. Okay, and shameless plug, I am stepping down as an organizer in a couple of weeks. I will be sad. There's some things going on. It's fine. I just also am looking for a job. So if you know somebody who needs somebody in operations or strategy or process improvement, that's what I'm really good at. So I would love to be connected to something like that if you can, please. And we also have an announcement from the foundation. Emma, come on up.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Thank you so much for coming this morning, and thank you to our presenters. Just to let you know, you can present at any one of the 110 communities in the country. So if you're traveling, you can attend. If you want to present, apply, and you will get similar feedback, referrals, and we have seen tremendous value propositions from the different presentations around the country. Now, I'm here today to make an announcement. Save the date. On the 29th of April, we will have international guests coming from Latin America and the Caribbean, 13 of them. We will have a special 1MC that we're calling Rapid 1MC. 5 of them will present, and then we'll give them feedback. We'll give you breakfast at about 8:15, and we'll finish at about 10:15. So mark your date. We are going to start announcing from next week. I just wanted to put it out there today because we have a full room today. Thank you, Celeste, so much for everything you've done for this community.